All right, Nestor, we're on.
Yes, I'm so glad to
Hola.
be with you. Hola, hola, hola. Hola a todos.
Nestor Vargas, tell everybody what you do, who you
Yeah.
are.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so my name is Nestor Vargas. I am the host of the Green Cards Greenbacks podcast. Really, my hope is to empower people to really live their dreams and use create wealth, right? To really better understand how to create wealth here in the United States. And so I'm super excited to be here.
Where were you 40 something years ago? And my parents were like, we need to create wealth.
Oh my god. Yeah, so I just went professionally, but personally, I'm Colombian by origin. I came here to the United States when I was 7 years old. Grew up in Florida, and now live here in Denver, Colorado. That's me in a nutshell.
I love it. I love it. Arriba Colombia.
Listo.
To all of my Colombia. Oh, I love Colombia, by the way. By the way, Colombia is like big into mariachi. I don't know if people who are listening to this know this, but I went to Colombia and I was like, where are these mariachis coming from? They like know my song. Like I was tripping out.
That's right. Yeah, I think we talked about this. I grew up right next to like a tienda, and there's mariachi music all the time, so I know a lot of mariachi songs.
Oh no, that's gonna be our next live. You and I singing. Las tienditas. So the tienditas, just for everybody who's listening, is just like a hole in the wall place where you sell whatever, right? Whatever in the house. And so sometimes there's alcohol, sometimes there's galletas. It's just they're whatever stores. I love that. I love that. But hey, Nestor, let's get right to it. It's going to be short and sweet because you're my money guy.
Yeah.
You said wealth. I was like all over it. Help me be wealthy, right? Let's get to everybody who comes to this country, the United States, and any other country for that matter, that's better than the one they come from. They all come for money. Let's just be honest about that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just tell you, I saw my mama this weekend and I said, Mom, tell me a little bit about when you came here, what was like your money concept? And she says, Mija, I don't know, but we were just here to make as much of it as we could. Right. So I know you're going to get into, kind of some systematic things about money, but, for immigrants that come to this country that are undocumented, it's a totally different story than when you come here documented and have careers and all of that. So I just wanted to make that clear because for my mom, what she told me, she says, tell Nestor that I needed to make as much money on that check as possible because I needed to feed you guys as much of it as possible. So 401k, 401k. So anyways, that's a message from my mama to you, okay?
No, sure.
So tell me a little bit about what do you think. Let's talk first gen. I know a lot of people who are going to be listening to this are first geners. What should they know about entering the workplace and what kinds of money questions will come up from having that job?
And so I think one of the things that I'll say, and this has been something that I've learned over the past 5 years as I left working for corporate America and became my own boss, is I would tell people that you need to realize that the best money-making asset is yourself.
Tell me more.
And yeah, so there's so much opportunity in this country that if you are willing to learn and put in the work, you will absolutely succeed. I came here to the United States. I didn't speak a word of English. Like I had zero knowledge of the language, right? And now I own a financial planning firm and I've got this podcast and I live a very happy life, I would say. But so when I say learn that you're the best money making asset, invest in yourself, okay? Find a mentor that is willing to show you the ropes that is ahead of you. And I'll say, don't be afraid to pay for that mentor because their time is worth, they're also trying to attain their goal or their dream, whatever that is. And time is money. And sometimes it just requires for you to invest in yourself, and that is paying that mentor. I'll give you an example. This was the first year where I actually really dove in really hard into paying for a mentor, and this year alone, I've seen $40,000 worth of return from that mentorship. And I know that that's just this year. I know that I'm going to continue to get that moving forward. So we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars just from really investing in someone that is willing to show me the ropes, that cares, and that, once has the knowledge. Be careful. There's a lot of people that want to say, hey, I know this, I know that. Make sure that they are actually, the real deal.
So how much, okay, I don't want to say how much, but I mean, let's say it's 40 times what you invested, you got it right back.
Yeah.
And this is, over 20 years, it pays for itself. Yeah.
So it's already paid for this year.
So I you know what? I like that you started off with that, because I think there's this big stigma about mentors, especially in the Latino community. How am I going to pay for, $1,000 for talking to a person for an hour? But reality is you're going to that person because they have 20 years experience, or they've failed, or they've succeeded, and they can basically stop you from making a big mistake that will cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars later.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Yeah.
I wish I had a mentor. When I first started making money in the tech industry, you're in tech, pays pretty good money. Like, no, we hadn't, in my family, owned a house. We hadn't owned a house. And so me and my ex-husband at the time were like, we're gonna buy a property. And, we decided to buy a mobile home, which, by the way, huge mistake for the time. I mean, for us, it just didn't work, because mobile homes, you don't own the land. Yep. Therefore, you can't appreciate the cost of the land. And by the way, I had $50,000 in our pocket. Like, if I would have went to a professional that had gone through this, or just a financial advisor, they would have said, maybe you should consider blah, 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 for X reason, for $1,000 or whatever the price, I would have made hundreds of $1,000s more, because they would have looked at like the price of tierras increasing, land increasing, all of that. So anyways, that was just my ignorance. I'm just like admitting it. But we make mistakes like that because all of a sudden I have money. What do you do with it?
And then you start listening to your uncle, your aunt, or your cousin
I don't know.
is just telling you the good stuff. They're not telling you the bad things that have happened. So yeah, be careful who you take advice from, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so Nestor, so you're in this, let's say you're in this office world now, or you're making some money, and there's questions that come up, like right when you sign the application to get that job, right?
Oh, sure.
So 401k, what's 401k? What is that? Why is it important? And why should he care at 24?
Albert Einstein, I think we all know who that guy is, said that, I'm going to read this. It says, compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it. Okay? And so what that means really is that compound interest, what your money makes, is extremely powerful, and it continues to get even more powerful as your money grows. So with the 401k, really, it allows you to put money away for your retirement. And most of the times, your employer will give you free money so you can put money in there. So at the very least, I would say, put enough money to get the full match. So your employer will say, hey, I'll match you 3% of what you're putting into your account. So please, definitely do that. Your future self will thank you. When you're older, will thank you. We'll have a lot of grace for you having done that.
So I did that. I actually didn't start contributing to 401k, although I had already been working 5 or 6 years. And then I'm like, I guess I better contribute to this 401k. My company at the time was matching it. And I was like, well, this must be good, right? So I looked at my 401k 20 years later, and I was like, what? Like, oh, I think I'll be all right. So yes, your future self will thank you later. So thank you, little Martita,
Yeah, exactly.
And look, kudos to you for having that quote right there. Like, we didn't even prompt this.
Thank you.
Oh yes. What about stock? Like stocks. Let's say you go to a company and they offer you stocks, and there's always like stock purchasing. What's that all about? So tell me about stock.
Okay, yeah. So specifically in the tech company, you'll see a lot of companies wanting to share the potential growth of that company by giving you the ability to buy company stock at a discount. And so I think it really, when I think about company stock and in my clients who have company stock, we want to make sure we take that into consideration when they're investing. So if you're in a tech company and you're acquiring a lot of this company stock, we also want to figure out not only how we're going to get to that stock, but also what's our plan to actually exit a portion of that position. Martika, right now, tech companies are getting beat up, right? By the past 10 years, they're doing so well. So we go through this phases where things are really growing and then things take a step back. So let's make sure we have a plan not only to diversify that money, but also to be cautious in knowing that, remember, your employer, you're already taking a lot of risk because your employer is giving you that paycheck. So your paycheck's at the mercy of that employer. And on top of that, you're investing in their company. So you have to be really aware. You have to be aware of that and how it complements the rest of your investments.
I like that you said diversify, because if you have all of your eggs in one basket, and I've also made that mistake, if that basket falls down, then everything goes away. I'm all for real here. These are things that happen. Nestor, what is like the number one mistake that you see younger folks making that you'd say, look, just make sure you have this one or two things going on with your money?
Here's what I'll say. It depends how young you are, but I mean, if you have a family, please make sure that you have bought life insurance to protect your family. And when I talk about life insurance, don't fall into the trap of buying this crazy, sexy life insurance policies. This insurance people are going to want to sell you. Term insurance. It is the most basic type of insurance. Is the cheapest type of insurance. It is there to do one thing and one thing only, is to protect your family from you if you pass away, right? So I would say make sure that you're protecting your family. It's very cheap to do that. And the second thing is, Martika, we just talked about it, is start early, understand the power of interest. And also please know that investing is not just for the rich. Right now in the United States, you can start investing with as little as $100 and have an amazing diversified portfolio. Very similar to the portfolios that I built for clients who have $1 million. You're worth it, and you can absolutely participate in investing.
Okay, so you're working with clients that have millions of dollars starting early. So everybody listening to this, call Nestor if you want $1 million. Hey Nestor, do you offer your services? I'm just gonna plug your services because I think that somebody like you is needed. Look, first generation, new people entering these office worlds. I'm not just gonna focus on tech. We all, we're getting these questions like, okay, how do you want your paycheck to be split? All of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
They can benefit from somebody like Nestor to go in there and say, hey, new hires, and I don't know if this exists out. Hey, new hires, I know you're new to this world. Congratulations. Here's a little bit about what to expect. Here's a little bit about the offerings, and here's some suggestions just based on your experience, right? Your mentorship right then and there. So anyways, I just wanted to kind of give your services a plug, because where were you when I needed all this help?
That's right, Martika. That's what drives me, and that's why I'm here. There's definitely a big opportunity for our Latino community to create wealth. There's 62 million of us here in the United States, and only 5% of us are actually using the stock market. So that just tells me that we really, really have a lot of opportunity for us to continue to really invest and create wealth like the rest of people here in the United States.
Okay, so maybe that's okay. So this is just a small sample of the information that Nestor is that's giving us, and I think we're gonna do this again. This is my first thing like this for everybody, and I think we need to talk about investing in stocks. later, and maybe you can take the taboo out of that, because
Oh yeah.
I have to, maybe just give us the 1, 2, 3s next time we can talk about that, because I think that could be amazing, and especially if there's only 5%.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. Love to do that. It is not as hard as people think it is, especially nowadays. Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. And you know, also the Latino community, we're like I want to say we're the fastest growing small business owners, right?
That's a fact. Yes, it is a fact. There
So
are more Latinos and especially Latinas that are starting businesses than any other in this ethnicity here in the United States now.
boom, we're doing
Yep,
it. We're
power to
doing
you,
it.
ladies.
Yes. Bueno, mi Nestito. Anything else you want to tell anybody here?
I would say that believe in yourself is the number one thing. Invest in yourself is the other thing, and read books. Gosh, guys,
What
look,
what are you reading, Nestor?
oh my gosh, right now I'm reading The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I think that's
that's cool.
that's
Yeah.
the word. But I'll say this: I'm in a group with other financial advisors. We always talk about our lives and all that stuff. And I've got 2 advisors who make over $500,000 a year right now. And everyone in this group is reading 10 to 15 books a year, and they're just constantly creating, thinking about it, and creating this content. And if you think about a book, it's really a summary of the best ideas that person had in 100, 150 pages. So why wouldn't you invest in reading these books and getting all that knowledge, that amazing knowledge that people have consumed in such little amount of time? And Marta, you would know this because you've got 2 books now, so that's awesome.
I'm co-authoring a couple books, and who knows what's coming up, right? So, and you know what's interesting about books? I hated reading. I hated reading growing up. It seemed boring to me. But if I would have had a teacher like you that said, "Hey, read because it's the top, 100 pages that are most important to this person," and you could get so many different perspectives. Like, I think we just need to have a rewiring on why books are so important. And now, I have a stack of 4 books right in front of me. One of them being Untamed by Glennon Doyle, but whatever.
I haven't read that one yet.
No, there's some interesting things on there. But anyways, so keep reading, invest in yourself, invest in your future, and it's never too early.
Never too early, never too late.
Never too All right. Everybody needs to get a hold of Nestor, connect with him. I love Nestor. I text him and ask him questions, and I hope that we can get back on here soon, okay?
Yeah, thank you, Martha.
I don't have mariachi music, but what's your volver song? Y volver. Okay, anyways. Peace out, everybody.
All right.
Adios.
See ya.